Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 7 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. How are you doing today?
Well, we have another guest here. So the same guest that we've had for the past couple of episodes, Mr. John Placenti. Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me back.
The John the Streak Placente, if you know what I mean.
John the
Abhishek, Pete, you're on the chop.
He's on the deck.
They're on the deck. John's coming for that crown. How's everyone's week doing?
So today we will be breaking down the AFC South division this time, where John will be talking about his Jaguars, Rakshak will be talking about the Colts, and I will be talking about the Texans and the Titans. But not before some dhamakedar news. So we've had a lot of positive news, except for one bit of negative news here that Rakshak will get into. But the biggest positive news that I can say as a Packers fan is that they are swimming in cash money. They received a record $432.6 million in revenue sharing this past year. And the reason why we know this is because the Packers, the best franchise in the whole world, is the only franchise that is a publicly owned pro sports franchise in the United States. So it's glad, we are incredibly glad to be part of such a fantastic organization, something that we're not going to let any sleazy billionaire get his grubby little hands on it and ruin it for eternity. We are
Harry
going
Jones.
Huh?
Harry Jones. Oh, I'm sorry.
There you
man.
go.
I don't know. Like in July, sometimes like the allergy season's coming about.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry. I do apologize, my fellow gentlemen. I'm just. Oh God, Woods, Harry Jones, bad owners. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm completely sorry.
It almost seems like you have the Jerry Jones allergies.
Cowboys suck.
So
it's everywhere, man.
This past year, this is the first time the Packers have made $430+ million. And if this is the figure for the revenue sharing agreement, which means that the $432.6 million has been equally distributed to each of the 32 NFL teams. The other 31 NFL teams do not have to disclose this because they are not publicly traded organizations, but the Packers are. So publicly owned, sorry. So the Packers are, which is why we get to know their finances. Now, because the Packers have $432 million, that means if you multiply that by the 32 NFL teams, the league earned in 1 year $13 billion of revenue. 1 year, $13 billion in revenue. And you wonder why we are still using the dumbass chain gang set to expire this year. But it should have been expired long ago because leagues around the world have been using advanced technology for the better part of the past 2 decades. I mean, even cricket has been improving on its technology usage since 1999. So there was no explanation as to why they shouldn't have gotten the chain gang. Thankfully, they are getting rid of that antiquated excuse of hiring old men. We're going into we're using technology now to actually measure something that is very impactful. So, my tirade aside, this is insane because that means the league is trying to grow about 7% annually, but the Packers grew significantly more than that. Their profit from last year's fiscal year went from $60 million to $83.7 million this past year. That means their corporate reserve fund grew to $579 million, which is the cash that they have that is used to spend on various like capital improvement projects, such as building Titletown, getting the new locker rooms for the players that was just released, enhancing fan experience, all that fun stuff. It grew. And that is because they issued more shares of stock to new shareholders this past year. So that was one of the reasons why their revenues went up as well. Mark Murphy also mentioned that during his tenure, the Packers had invested $679 million into Lambeau Field and the team's facilities, which is a far cry away from what other billionaires invest in their team's facilities, expecting the taxpayers to pay most of the burden. So one more win for the Green Bay Packers. Best franchise in the world.
Okay.
I'm going to stop the glazing right now.
No, keep going. Keep going. Because it's real. It's real.
We are of the people, for the people, by the people. The definition of America. I don't care if America was technically born in Philadelphia. Green Bay Packers represents America more than any other team in the world, especially in America. So that is why Green Bay Packers are America's team. They are the greatest team, and they are the best team in the NFL.
Well, Anand, my friend,
For this reason.
Anand and John, because of your heretic actions, I don't know if it's been a while since I've said this, but I am bringing back a very special part of what I love to call in the NFL Masala, called the Ruckchuck curse. That is right. Any team under the curse will fall into a desperate state of misery.
Unusable, unworthy, useless Ruckchuck curse, you mean?
When I cursed the Niners last year, did they win the Super Bowl? No, I cursed the Chiefs for not winning a Super Bowl. What happened? They got belt to ass kicked by this team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? You guys are on a 3-strike thing, so strike 2 at the moment. And because you have more of the manpower, I will wait until the NFC East pod comes through. So
classic Eagles fans behavior right there.
It is
gang up on the poor defenseless victims of the opposing fans. Classic
ladies
Eagles
and gentlemen,
life.
these are the Green Bay bitches, right?
Whoa, those are some harsh words.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Screw it. The Green Bay Panthers are under the Ruckchuck curse. They are not making it to the Super Bowl. Trust me.
Yada.
You did this to yourselves.
At least we're not under the Madden curse. Have fun losing Saquon for the whole year.
Exactly.
But I mean, even with that, we do have AJ Dillon, so we might as well use him.
Useless AJ Dillon?
I don't know. Let's see. I think we basically reinvented the fullback. We brought back the fullback position, so I'm pretty confident with my Eagles in this one. And how is it going?
AJ Dillon's used goods at this point.
Exactly. What will Jalen Hurts do without his best friend Saquon Barkley?
Oh, let's see. You have Devontae Smith. You got AJ Brown, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert. Oh yeah, Terrence Marshall's making a couple of names.
Terrence Marshall.
There's
Terrence
no
Marshall
way you
Jr.,
put
yeah?
Terrence Marshall in that group.
Uh-huh.
There's no way.
Okay. Okay. Just wait. Just wait. Yo,
all right. Let's move on, shall we?
As we get back to the main topic, a second before I break the Makadar news about what the hell on a segment I like to call "What the hell is going on with the Jets?" because there's something going on. We do have two news I really want to talk about. Number one, the Raiders cutting defensive tackle Christian Wilkins.
I don't get that at all.
We were talking about the Raiders last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a few seconds to talk about this because I don't want to touch on that subject for a long time. But apparently, it was apparently this. So I'm trying to pull up the news. So he's been recovering from a Jones fracture on his left foot in October. Based on the way that he was going through rehab, they voided a remaining $35.2 million of guaranteed money left in his contract on June 4th. The belief was that Wilkins needed another surgery, and he went against it. And then the Raiders voided the guaranteed money, no return. And guess what? The NFLPA is stepping up to that. The same NFLPA that does not have a president. So what the hell is going on? And the crazy part is he signed a 4-year, $110 million deal with $82.75 million guaranteed with a signing bonus of $24 million. So I don't know what the hell is going on with the Raiders, man. And apparently Pete Carroll was saying that the decision to cut him was because he did not we watched this way throughout the whole thing. We kept it clear with what we said, and there was no path in return. And NFLPA is filing a grievance on it, and there will be a hearing, and it's going to be a hell of a lot messier. The Raiders cannot find a way to have no controversy. They just keep inviting it to the door. It's like, oh, hello, come on in. We missed you. Like, honestly, can you guys do anything right? Apparently not. So going back to the original topic, so yesterday there was a scary moment for the New York Jets. Justin Fields, their starting QB, was carted off on Thursday morning with a dislocated with a foot injury. Everyone was showing like, oh my God, is it an ACL? Is it an Achilles? Is it a major foot injury? Knock on wood, thankfully, it was just a dislocated right toe. He's expected to be ready for week 1 against the Steelers, and he will not miss significant time, and he is day-to-day. Aaron Glenn head coach for the Jets, spoke today after practice. This declined to speculate the severity of the injury. He's waiting for test results, but there was a bit of a release. So, I mean, there's a bit of relief with the preseason curses and whatnot with the Jets. But the downside, he misses time for training camp. And valuable time, especially trying to go through a new offense, trying to go with some new weapons. And now the starter for that time being will be Tyrod Taylor. As of now, until Fields is ready to be on the field.
Right, it is dislocated toe, and there has been an update on Justin Fields.
Oh,
he is officially back on camp, in practice camp. He is doing his regular practice drills. So that was an overreaction by the NFL media, as usual.
That's good. Okay, what have we got
next? So, surprise, surprise. The Saints have now lost Derek Carr to retirement, Ron Armstead to retirement, some other player to retirement, and now it's Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badgers' turn to
Honey
retirement.
Badger's gone. Damn.
He is done. The Saints are signing Julian Blackmon from the Colts as a replacement. Good signing. I agree.
It's a great signing, yeah.
Underrated safety.
Oh, 100%.
And only on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal.
That's good. That's actually good.
That's a steal.
Younger on the upside, right?
Exactly. He's only 26. So, if this is his make it or break it year, he could earn a second, third contract after the end of this year. But he has a specific role in the Saints defense, and that is to be in the box because he played at in free safety. So he played 874 snaps of free safety, 175 snaps in the box, and 50 snaps in the slot, according to PFF. So his role is as the long rangey free safety, whereas that is kind of the opposite to Tyrann Mathieu. He was more like the mix and match, right? He could do both free safety and strong safety positions as well. So we'll see how it goes. I don't really have that high of a hope for the Saints anyways this season.
No.
Yeah. Any comments, John?
I mean, there's not really much to say. You have a 25-year-old rookie who's slated to be your starter. Not very much in the receiving department. Alvin Kamara is getting older. Your offensive line is getting older. I mean, honestly, I think Justin Blackmon is probably one of, if not the best piece on that defense.
Right.
So there's just not a lot to say. They're probably gonna go 3-14 or whatever. But yeah, there's not a lot going on for the Saints right now.
Yep. Alrighty. That's it for that news. And now breaking the market, our news just 2 hours ago. Shamar Stewart has agreed to a deal with the Bengals, ending his holdout and his canceling his promise that he was going to go be redrafted next year. Apparently, he has now signed a 4-year, $18 million deal, guaranteed. And the whole thing was over $500,000. That's all it was.
Like, really? Why? Like, he's risking so much draft stock, so much more money by going back to college than just signing a deal and playing his ass off and then maybe getting that $500,000 back down the line.
It's ridiculous because I think, for Shamar Stewart's case, the language that he really wanted to get rid of, which was the contract language that could void future guarantees based off of injury. This is what Cincinnati did not want. And Shamar Stewart wanted a fully guaranteed contract. So apparently what the compromise that they reached on was that he would sign the contract language that says you could void future guarantees if you get injured. In return, the team moved up roughly $500,000 of his signing bonus to be paid immediately. Again, like you said, that was like he could have asked for more.
Yeah, no, he could have at least gotten 1.5 too, because the Bengals are at the risk of making themselves look bad when he doesn't play. So
Right.
He had the leverage there.
Exactly.
There's no reason he couldn't have asked for more.
500,000 is like one game check, probably.
Can I
yeah.
say
Go ahead.
something? Like, just to add, John, I think Shamar Stewart, he may have overplayed his hand. He basically, if it was like $500,000, I get it. It's a lot of money for like any rookie that's trying to make it big in the NFL. But the decision to hold out this long, it's not a good look, especially for a rookie. And like even said, when we saw Shamar Stewart get picked by the Bengals, we were very suspicious if this was the right move because he was a project player at best. And project players like this, we kind of expect them to like show out on the field, work your ass off, like show out in practice that you can be the Cincinnati version of Myles Garrett. Be the replacement for Sam Hubbard or Trey Hendrickson. But what the hell are you doing? I'm not getting paid. Let me go back to the worst university in the world, which is Texas A&M.
That we agree on.
We can at least agree on that.
Yes.
And that the Cowboys suck always.
Mhm.
And not only that, like the Bengals are like basically we have no time for this shit. We have another problem to face, which is Trey Hendrickson, who's out there in Florida somewhere.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, they're no longer the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm in the words of urinating tree. They're to me, the way that they've handled this shit, they're officially the Cincinnati Bungles. Before, unless they redeem themselves, and they honestly, with all this should have been prevented, not only by Jamar Stewart, but I also blame the front office themselves for not figuring out what, part of my French, on what the fuck they were doing. Honestly, like, John, if you were the GM of the Bengals, would you be giving Jamar Stewart a contract just like that?
No.
What would you do instead?
I wouldn't have drafted him in the first place.
Good. What on it? If you were the GM of the Bungles, what would you do?
I would. I don't know, man. Because he is an important piece to what we need to do. That's the problem. Like the Bengals really messed up with A, not signing Trey Hendrickson early, and B, drafting a player who needs development but has raw talent. They could have drafted someone like, I don't know.
They could have got James Pierce Jr. They could have got Jahdae Barron. I said this last week. They had so many better options. That's the song I was singing last week with the Bengals, is that they had so many better options to draft, and they went with a project player. Yes, James Pierce Jr. had his injuries, but that was the only problem he had. He was NFL ready. Jahdae Barron's another one that was very NFL ready, and in a quarterback room where they did not have a lot, that would have been an amazing pick. The Jamar Stewart pick will not make sense to me, or does not make sense to me, and will not make sense to me for a long time, and I will not be surprised if he doesn't pan out whatsoever.
Right.
Fair enough. That's all. I mean, that's all I have to say. And I would say I would never as hell gone with Jamar Stewart. I would have gone with a different. I would have gone more. I would say I could have gone someone like Jahad Campbell because he fills. Yeah. But I mean, like, not to gloat, because like I'm surprised the Eagles are able to land him this late. But like if Jahad Campbell went there, he fits perfectly in that bungle scheme. Like, he could play edge, he could play off-ball linebacker like he did in Alabama. The scheme fits for him. But
especially with them losing Jermaine Pratt, that would have been the best pick available for them.
But no, what do you decide to do? You go with a freaking project player. Like, what do you say in Canada? Like, what the hell?
And I don't know, bro.
I would have been like, Bobby, you're not
exactly.
Or on it. Book on it. Thanks to Duolingo. Okay, so last but not least, but I like before we continue, like, this is the NFC East.
This is because we have one more contract issue.
Oh yeah, and then of course there's another big story happening in the Frisco, apparently with Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. I love this shit. But apparently, it's reported from NFL.com that Terry McLaurin's contract dispute has dragged into training camp, and he did not show up. He's now officially placed on the reserve did not report list on Wednesday, according to Ian Rappaport. And he told on July 15th that he's been pretty frustrated with the status of his contract, and everything that has transpired up to this point has been disappointing and frustrating. I want to continue my career here. And they have not, and there's been no progress. And he's entering the final year of a 3-year, $68.2 million extension. He signed with Washington back in 2022. It pales into some of his counterparts at the receiver position, and he's not even the highest paid. You know, guess who that is? The highest paid receiver. Guess who that is? Deebo Samuel, who makes $650,000 more per year than Scary Terry per over the cap. He's had 5 straight seasons of 1,000+ receiving yards, and I think like a feat achieved despite playing with different primary starting QBs in each of those campaigns. Coming off a year which he finished second in receiving touchdowns, 13, behind the only Triple Crown winner, Jamar Chase, with 17. And I said, and Scary Terry, he deserves a new contract. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
And like, this is the Commanders. You have one of the oldest rosters assembled. They're trying to go all in with Jaden Daniels, and I could see that. It can work. But you got to pay your man. Like, no offense. This offense clicks with Jaden Daniels if Scary Terry's on the field. And we saw his impact. If he's not there, are you sure you could trust with Deebo Samuel, who's still shot? I mean, who's like not that Deebo that we love to hate. I mean, and you're depending upon CMC's brother, Luke McCaffrey, and Zach Ertz, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. So
it's not really the strongest squad in terms of wide receivers. So Scary Terry is, almost required.
Right.
And that's the thing. Maybe Washington sees something we don't, because we've never seen Deebo play with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels.
That is,
he's had some pretty mediocre quarterbacks. I mean, Brock Purdy's probably the best one, and he's not Jaden Daniels. I can tell you that much right now. So maybe they saw something that we didn't. Maybe they're running a scheme that he didn't run in San Francisco necessarily, where they found he was a better fit. I think one of the main reasons why they're so hesitant with giving him a new contract is because they want to weigh their options. And they want to see what they can do without spending a boatload of money.
Yep. And that's all I have. I mean, I think it's a very good analysis by you, John. This is why we have you on the show. I have nothing else to say. I don't know what the hell is going on, but if I'm the Commanders, get that shit done. Get it done ASAP, because you need Scary Terry on the field. You got to help your quarterback, whatever you can.
Yeah, this is a surprising move. We really don't know what happens in the background, right? What happens in contract negotiations. But honestly, this should have been done a long time ago, because Scary Terry is like 50% of their offense. I mean, it is pivotal.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels is a good enough quarterback where he can figure out how to use the other pieces on his field. But Scary Terry opens up a whole different dimension for the Commanders offense to go through. So it's difficult when you lose a star player like that. So, alrighty. That is it in terms of Dhamakadar news. Let's get started with some AFC South division talk, shall we?
Let's get it to the most, I would say, beat the dome moment. The most mid.
Yep.
The most mid division in the NFL.
Agreed.
We need to give a mid awards. The biggest. Oh, New idea, Anand. I know this is again between the episode, but I propose that we held a mid award. The
We
most
do.
mid.
We have the Kacharat. Oh wait, no. Mid is different. Mid is different.
We have to have the
We
mid.
could. We could. Yeah.
The most mid division, the mid team,
Yeah.
mid player.
Season preview. We should do that.
We have a mid player award. We just got to call it the Jalen Hurts Award.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Well, that mid player's won Super Bowl MVP, motherfucker. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Bogus Super Bowl MVP.
Should have been DeGene.
Yep. DeGene, Zach
How-
Bond, any one of the other handful players that actually contributed to
all
the
we know
success
is okay,
of that
while
victory.
you all think about this, we're focused on, as a quote from AJ Brown, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. We can't be great without the greatness of others, and we keep the main thing the main thing. Right now, we're starting from scratch. Last year, we won it. That's it. We're
Mhm,
moving on to the new one,
mhm.
and mark my words, we will make we're gonna make a big run. Understand that? And y'all,
Okay.
I don't know if we'll make it to the Super Bowl because it's gonna be so freaking hard. There's a bunch of teams that will make it that are gonna be up ahead. But if we demo make it and we win this one,
Yes.
Be ready for
That's then you change the conversation at that point.
we change it. And Cam Newton, we'll have a separate discussion for him later.
Yeah. All
We'll
right.
have it for the NFC East.
All right. Let's start talking about the AFC South. Let's start talking about the Houston Texans. Man, they lost any momentum they had at the end of 2023.
Did they even have any momentum to begin with?
They did. At the end of 2023, CJ Stroud was lighting the league on fire along with Jordan Love, right? Those last 6 games, it really cemented them as star quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But this past year, it wasn't really that evident, but you have to dig a little bit deeper to find the underlying issue. And that is their offensive line. I mean, you guys saw just how pathetic that performance was. Game after game after game, even though they invested significant capital, both financial and draft capital, in their offensive line, poor communication, constant leaks and pressure. They did not have effective run blocking or pass blocking, poor scheming. It's like everything was a symptom of bad offensive play. Like the entire offense shut down primarily because of that offensive play, but everything else did not support, did not try and rectify some of the mistakes of the offensive line. Like a good coordinator, a good OC, they can figure out ways to hide the incompetence of a specific unit, even a unit as important as the offensive line. I'm sure you guys can agree. But a good OC can focus on mixing and matching their different play calls with respect to running versus passing, with respect to play action and motion, and all these different schematic elements. They can mix and match and learn how to utilize them in an effective way. Bobby Sloak did not do that this past year. He stuck to one formula. Even when it didn't work, he stuck to one formula. Now, this is unfortunate because he is a data guy, right? He's one of the least people, one of the, how do I say this? He's one of the people that I least expected to be steadfast in his own ways. Because if presumably, if you're an analyst and you're the one who's running an offense, then why wouldn't you at least adjust when the data shows that whatever you're doing, whatever scheme you're doing, does not work? Why wouldn't you not adjust during the middle of the season to, especially during the bye week, just to bring in some new concepts to see if you can change something to make it work? Now, the unfortunate aspect is, even if he did try and change it, their offensive line play was so bad. It was pretty self-evident when you look at the playoffs, right? They won in the wild card game, which is fantastic. But when you saw that division round game versus the Chiefs, 8 sacks. I mean, 8 sacks that this offensive line allowed. CJ Stroud is not known to take a lot of sacks. Right? He's not a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who holds on to the ball too long. He's a quarterback that learns to get rid of the ball quickly. So the fact that that team, that offensive line, took 8 sacks in the divisional round really shows just how poor that offensive line was. What do you mean 2? Rakshak, what do you mean 2?
Strike 2.
Strike
we're already
2.
on strike 2.
Yeah,
You already
exactly.
put the curse on us.
Yeah, it's gonna come and kick y'all in the ass. Keep on going.
Hey, the data speaks for itself, man. The data speaks for itself. Anyways, when you look at their offensive performance, when you look at their offensive performance, the Texans overall were not good. 26th in DVOA, 25th in the pass, 27th in their rushing game. And when you look at all of those metrics combined, the common denominator, again, is their offensive line. That has been the story this past year. That's been the story for the past 2 years. It's their offensive line. 7th highest in adjusted sack rate, 24th in adjusted line yards, which basically means that that offensive line could not produce enough yardage in the run game, nor were they protecting CJ Stroud effectively, right? So technically they did make adjustments on paper. And Titus Howard, their right tackle, said this year we're going to be meaner, we're going to be stronger, we're going to be more hard-hitting. But I just don't think those adjustments are enough to adequately propel CJ Stroud more into the, into the success. I am losing my mind right now. What am I trying to say? I don't think these adjustments are enough to help CJ Stroud become the quarterback that he wants to be. Because a bad offensive line can hinder not only a quarterback's performance, but also the running back's performance as well, right? The pass game's overall performance. And that has a negative overall effect on the entire offense, which is why, Rakshak, what do we always say? Build through the trenches.
You got to build through the trenches, man.
Exactly. I mean, this is why the teams like the Eagles, the Chiefs, now the Chiefs, yes, the Packers always invest in the offensive line. Every draft, you see these like 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, the good teams always look to invest in the draft and replenish through the draft. Bring in more offensive line depth because you can never have enough good offensive linemen. It is so critical for an offensive success. It has to function. And we're not even saying that it has to be the 5th best offensive line in the league, because that's incredibly hard to do if you don't have the entire infrastructure set up. Just get to average, right? Just get to like Minnesota level or Rams level. Rams have a decent offensive line. They're not the best. They're not the worst. So at least get to average level, and then we'll see just how explosive CJ Stroud can be.
especially when you're entering into a season where you're going to rely heavily on the run game. You don't have Tank Dell for the entire season. You just picked up Nick Chubb. You got two stud running backs. Protect them. Run it down their throats. That's what they need to do. And yeah, I completely agree. Their offensive line does not have the capabilities to run a ground and pound offense.
Yep. And I'll get to this in a little bit, but they did make some adjustments. So we'll see if those are effective enough. But yeah, that is the biggest question mark this past year. That's the biggest question mark in 2023. That's the biggest question mark this year. How can this offensive line improve and perform, especially during crunch time situations in the fourth quarter, in pivotal games, and in the playoffs? That is what we need to see. Now, the opposite side, their defense, I have no doubts about. It's one of the best defenses in the league. In fact, beat the Dole moment. The Texans defense is my dark horse candidate to be the number one defense this year.
I can see that.
Because they are nasty on the defensive line. Credit to their head coach. Who's their head coach again?
D'Amico Ryan?
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans.
There we go. D'Amico Ryans. Credit to D'Amico Ryans. I'm gonna edit all this part out.
Oh no, it says on. It says on. The curse is working just like that.
But yeah, credit to D'Amico Ryans for building such a nasty defensive line and playing them up to the potential that they have. Their secondary has also improved. So honestly, I think that this defense has the bones to become the next great defense that we've seen. I mean, you see the historic Philadelphia Eagles defense in 2017 when they won the Super Bowl off of a 77 sack season.
Oh, in 2017? I don't remember how much it was. I know,
you guys broke the records for total.
That was 2022 when we went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure when you guys won in 2017, you guys had like the best. Anyways, we can search that later.
But no, thanks to the magic of AI. Thank you, ChatGPT and Google. So 2017-2018 regular season for the Eagles, 47 sacks during the season. During the playoffs, it was not that much. Only the 2022, only that 2022-2023 era when they lost to the Colts.
That was the 70 sacks.
It was the 70+ sacks, but the main difference, he could not sack Mahomes in that shitty turf.
Right. So regardless, I think that they can be one of those type of defenses this year. And I think they have to be to get into the to make significant noise in the playoffs, because this offense, surprise, surprise, to no one, I don't think is a top 10 offense. They might have like a top 10 passing offense, but I just don't think that they have the bones for a good overall balanced offense. So this defense is going to have to pull them out in a lot of bad situations. So overall, this past year, they were fantastic. Third best defense across the board. But yeah, I mean, this defense, when you look at the additions that they made, which I'll get into a little bit, they've added depth. They've added, nastiness on that defensive line, and it's only going to get better. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the biggest gets that they had. A lot of 1 and 2 year deals, but some important players that they brought in: Mario Edwards, rotational D tackle, on a 2-year, $9.5 million deal, again, strengthening that D line. They brought back Laken Tomlinson on a 1-year deal, Justin Watson for a 2-year deal, and now Rakshak has some dhamakedar news.
I know this is completely off topic, but I actually want to give a special congratulations to one of our guest hosts and contributor, my friend Pete Nathan of the Pete Nathan podcast. He just got hitched today in San
Let's
Francisco.
go.
Congratulations, my man. Congratulations, and hope to see you soon, brother. Let's get it. I just wanted to get that out front. Special shout out to my boy Pete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So what else? Who else did they bring? They brought in Derek Barnett. Stop me if you've heard this name before. Eagles.
Yeah,
fan.
it's always effing him. That's what Nick Sirianni says. It was so funny. Like in the 2021 season, like whenever Barnett, there was like when Barnett committed a penalty, Nick Sirianni mouthed it. It's always effing him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big name that we have to talk about, which I still think it's gonna kick us in the ass. They made a trade.
Yes,
Huh?
but they also brought in Ronald Darby, another ex-Eagle.
Okay. I
Sheldon
think that's a good
Rankin.
one to help out with Kamari Lassiter and
Mhm.
Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley Jr. Like what the hell the Texans do?
That's what I'm saying, man. They also extended Jalen Petrie. So the big thing is, yes, they brought in a lot of depth, especially veteran depth on the defensive line and in the skill positions. And on the offensive line, they brought back Trenton Brown. They brought back Cam Robinson. So they are bringing in one-year deals for a lot of these veteran players.
But we have to talk about the bigger one. The trade that they made with the Philadelphia Eagles. They gave up a 5th-round pick and their offensive lineman, Kenyon Green.
Yes.
Which I still hate to this day. I don't know why the hell Howie Roseman made that trade, but in return, the Texans got they got a dog safety in the name of Mr. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I am so upset about that move.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, they made a lot of moves this season.
That was gold for the Texans, man.
They had a lot of draft day trades. They traded for CJ GJ. They also traded for Christian Kirk from Jacksonville. But going back to some of the other players that they re-signed Daniel Hunter to a 1-year $35.
Daniel Hunter?
Yeah, Daniel Hunter for a 1-year deal. And they also re-signed Derek Stingley to a 3-year, $90 million contract, making Derek Stingley one of the highest paid corners in the league.
Yeah. That sounds like your contract is going to push everything up now.
Mm-hmm. And they also waived Deontay Johnson. So they brought in, they extended their key defensive players. They brought in a lot of defensive line depth and offensive line depth. They also brought in some skill position players like Braxton Berrios, like Nick Chubb, as John was saying before. But the important thing that they did, they also traded for CJ GJ. So again, revamping that secondary and actually enhancing that secondary. But the important thing that they did was they tried to secure the future of the Texans offense. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you look at who the Texans had last year, specifically on their wide receiver squad, they had Tank Dell. Now, unfortunately, Tank Dell is out for various different reasons. They had Nico Collins and they had Stephon Diggs. Those were their 3 people. Now, Stephon Diggs was good, but he was not there as advertised. So that's why they had to let him go. Nico Collins is now the number 1 receiver. So what did they do? Well, they double dipped in the wide receiver position, getting 2 of my favorite players in the wide receiver group this past year. Jaden Higgins at the top of the 2nd round, basically at pick 35. So it's almost like a 1st-round pick. But they got Jaden Higgins. Great compliment to, actually not a compliment, but almost copy paste to what Nico Collins can offer you as Jaden Higgins. So you have Nico Collins on one side, Jaden Higgins on the other side, and then guess who's in the slot? Jalen Noel, a ridiculously special slot gadget guy in the 3rd round. And not only that, they also drafted Ariante Ursary, tackle from Minnesota, in the 2nd round again. They brought in a corner, Jalen Smith, in the 3rd round. But they got a lot of Jalen and Jadens. Jalen Reed, safety, in the 6th round. So once again, they spruced up their secondary by bringing in CJ, by bringing in by re-signing Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie. They also brought in a lot of depth on their defensive line, and they brought in some depth in their offensive line and restocked their skill positions. There we go. So overall, I think that this team has the potential. Now, they also brought in an important coaching change, and that was Bobby Slowick, who got fired, Nick Caley, who is now the offensive coordinator. You look at some of their other offensive players. They brought in Jerry Shiplinski as their senior offensive assistant and pass game specialist. So the big change is that they changed the offensive coordinator. And to me, the result of their offseason suggests that they're going to win this division. That's for sure. I mean, this is a very easy division to win. The Jags are the Jags. They just, surprise, surprise, they brought in a new head coach, which we'll get into a little bit.
Jags gonna jag. Jags are gonna jag.
Exactly. Jags are gonna jag. Titans are gonna tighten. Colts are gonna colt. So that means like this division is the Texans for the taking. But we all know that they're probably going to win this division. But what is going to be important is how they perform in the playoffs. And that's all going to depend on their O-line's performance. I love that they've improved the depth at the skill positions. I love that they made the defense even nastier. But if you expect Stroud to rebound, the offensive line is the biggest key. If they improve, we could see them as far as the offensive AFC Championship game. And who knows what happens in that, right? If not, I think this team goes one and done. I think this team, 12-5, they win the division easily. But the playoffs is the key. And we just won't know until we see that offensive line perform in real time. Now, my Shandar Player of the Year, dark horse candidate, Danielle Hunter. I think he's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I think he's going to get at least 15 to 17 sacks. And I think he's going to have a significant push for a 4th contract at this point. Because I think he's like 32? 31 maybe? You guys want to check?
Which one do you need help on? Let me
30. Daniel Hunter is 30. So
yeah, Danielle Hunter's, I think that's definitely worth it. 1 year prove it deal. Stuff like this. I mean, not only that, having like that mini veteran guy to also help Will Anderson like get a little bit more of an edge. And I have a beat the door moment. I don't know how many sacks Will Anderson was able to get, but I say he doubles it.
He got 11 sacks last year.
Ooh, you know what? Oh shit. Okay. I think. Guess what I think? I think he finishes top 2 in sacks this year. I have a strong feeling about Will Anderson, man.
Okay.
This dude's a monster.
He is their future. Alrighty. Up next, we got John's hometown Jags. Take it away.
Duval. All right.
AE Dub.
As
Hey,
much
they
of a
did have a
diehard Packers fan as I am, I did grow up in Jacksonville for a good portion of my life. And I love me some Jaguars football. As historically bad as they've been, I don't know why. I think I just like the pain, but I've always liked the Jaguars. I lived there for, I think, about 6 or 7 years. Fun fact, I've never seen a home win. I've been to a handful of Jaguars games. I've never seen a home win.
Oh, no.
I've seen them win on the road. I've never seen them win in their house. So
Oh,
that just
no.
shows you how bad the Jaguars have been over the years. And I think the story with last year was their biggest enemy was themselves. Looking back at their schedule from last year, all but 3 games, because they got blown out by Detroit in Detroit, they got blown out by Buffalo, and they lost to Chicago by 3 possessions. That's 3 games. The other 14 games were 1 possession losses or they won.
Huh.
Their biggest enemy is themselves. Now, who's to say that's going to be the same story this season? They did lose a lot. They released a lot of players, big name players. They released Evan Ingram. They released Gabe Davis. They released Ronald Darby. Josh Reynolds was another big loss that they had. They also lost a lot of players in free agency, including right guard Brandon Sheriff, who was the big name on that Jaguars offensive line. But they did add a lot of good talent, a lot of 1-year, 2-year, 3-year deals. But they added Jordan Lewis, which I think he's very underrated. I like Jordan Lewis a lot. That was a good signing by them. They added De'Ami Brown, who I thought was solid for the Commanders last year. I thought he made some big plays when it mattered, which is what Jacksonville needs. They shot themselves in the foot a lot last season, and there's a lot of question marks on this team, and a lot of old guys who you don't know how much longer they have. Their defense is looking a little spotty, which is why I like that Travis Hunter pick so much. But I'll get to that in a minute. But I think the biggest question mark with this team is Trevor Lawrence, and there's 2 reasons for that. The first reason is, can he stay healthy? He's had a lot of injuries going back to college. He's had a lot of problems with injuries. And then the second thing is his inconsistencies. There are some games where you look at Trevor Lawrence and you think he's the guy. He can be a top-tier quarterback in this league. And then there's some other games where it's like he's playing like he doesn't know how to play football. And it's just very frustrating to see him, because with as much as they're putting into him, it's very frustrating to see all those inconsistencies and to see that they don't really have a lot to offer at the quarterback position after him. So he really needs to step up and play his game like they think he could back all those years ago when they drafted him. Now, the other question that they have is the receiving core. They struck gold with Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm fully convinced of that. I think he is going to be an incredible receiver for them for years to come. Getting Travis Hunter and even getting De'Ami Brown, who, like I said earlier, can make big plays, and I think he's a very solid wide receiver 3. Getting rid of Evan Ingram was a big punch to the gut for them, but I think they really want to rally around Brenton Strange. I think he has a lot of potential, but we just didn't see a lot of him last year. I really do think he can push that Jaguars offense to the next level, because it's all about the smaller players. They can have as many big names as they want, but it's not going to matter unless the lesser known or the fringe players can do what they need to do. And then just looking at their offensive line, there's really not a lot there. I mean, they have Walker Little, who's serviceable. They have Anton Harrison, who is, again, serviceable. But their interior line just isn't something that is to be desired. And so I think that's going to be their big issue, is how are they going to protect Trevor? When you have a quarterback that's dealt with a litany of injuries, you want to protect him as best as you can. I understand why they got rid of Brendan Sheriff because, I mean, he's getting old, but still, he's still a top-tier guard in this league.
They could have extended him for like a 1-year deal.
Exactly. Yeah. And I really don't get it. I haven't gotten a lot of the moves that the Jaguars front office has made in the last few years, but that's really like one of the most confusing ones is their offensive line and their inability to protect Trevor Lawrence. But my biggest concern with Jacksonville is their defense, like I mentioned earlier. They are very spotty. They got a lot of old guys. They got Eric Armstead, Foyesade Luakan, even guys like Devin Lloyd, who, I mean, he's not really that old. He's 29, but it's just he's not that good. To put it bluntly, he's not that good. And I feel like, especially with their cornerback room, I said it last week with Cincinnati, Jacksonville is arguably worse. When your starting cornerbacks are Jerry Jones and Tyson Campbell, that's a problem. Because Travis Hunter is not going to play both ways in his first few years. He's going to be playing wide receiver.
Yeah.
And their inability to even like remotely try to go after corner in the draft in the first few rounds, it kind of shocks me. But I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot going on with this Jaguars defense. I mean, they got Josh Hines-Allen, who's definitely the star on that defense.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I mean, there's not a lot. There's really nothing there. And while I am saying all this, and I've been kind of trashing their offensive line, I don't think Jacksonville had a bad draft. Because if you look at their draft, they definitely made a very questionable pick to move up 3 spots, giving up a second-round pick to get Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's the player that everyone thinks he can be, Travis Hunter is going to be one of, if not the best receiver in the league in the next 5 years. And I fully believe that because, like, you saw the talent at Colorado that he had with a quarterback that's, I mean, I was never big on Shedeur Sanders. I don't think he's that good.
But I know who was. That was Mad Mel Kiper.
We're not even gonna get. We're not even gonna get.
No, wait. Just to remember, just to call. Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? I mean, Mel Kiper has no more credentials than my mailman, and my mailman doesn't even have season tickets. Oh, Bill Tobin.
But yeah, go ahead.
But, you know, after that, the third round on, because they did not have a pick in the second round, which I think is what really hurt them. I think there was a lot of talent in that second round that carried over. Guys that could have gone in the first round, guys that should have gone in the first round. I think not having that second round pick really hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
But for what they got, it's not bad by any means. They got Caleb Ransaw, who was part of a pretty good Tulane secondary.
Caleb Rankstraw? I thought he was like a Mizzou, but no.
No. You were talking about Ennis Rakestraw.
Oh my God!
Yeah, not Caleb Ransaw. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That guy from Tulane, he's good. He's underrated.
He's for a guy who's only 6 foot. He's a very physical guy. He had 114 tackles in his college career. He's a guy that can help Jacksonville if he gets the chance. But that's the problem with them is that they've never really been one to give players chances. They're very stuck in their own ways. And they're like, if this doesn't work, implode. And so he's also a very good pass rush safety. The only problem with him is he allowed a lot of 20-plus yard plays. He allowed a lot of big plays. But within 10 yards, he's a very good short yard cornerback. I liked the pick. I thought it was the best player available for them. And then they turn around the next pick and get Wyatt Millum, who I thought was one of the best guards
Yes.
coming out of
Hands down.
the
That was
first
a good
round.
pick,
He is going to provide a lot of competition for Ezra Cleveland. And I think having that competition in the Jags offense will be good for them because it'll allow players to step up. He's a big dude, 6'6", 317 pounds. And he's just a people mover. I like this pick a lot. The value's great. And just the overall talent with him is something that I think people are going to look back on, and they're going to be happy with what they did in that pick. Going to the fourth round, I don't know why. You have two good running backs. You got Travis, you got Tank. They went after two running backs in the draft. Why? I have no idea. They don't need running back. And especially when you get guys like Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech, who's really not a player to be desired. Now, I get it. Travis Etienne is playing on his fifth-year option. They don't know if they're going to re-sign him. But, and I don't know if Scatabo went at that point, but
I think Scatabo was like a round 3.
Was he around 3? Okay.
I think Cam Scatabo was around 3.
I couldn't remember if he was a late 3, early 4. But yeah, I don't really get the pick. They turn around and got two pretty solid linebackers in the 4th and 6th, and Jack Kaiser and Jalen McLeod. I liked the Jack Kaiser pick. I thought he was pretty solid at Notre Dame.
I do like that pick. Jack Kaiser, I think he isn't he like one that's super big linebacker from Notre Dame, and he was like their captain of that defense.
Yeah. I was surprised he went that low, but again, the value that Jacksonville got out of that pick is something that we haven't seen out of them drafting in a long time. They have never been one to get value on their picks. They've always been reaching. They've always been trying to get players that they think are big names, but never really pan out. Jack Kaiser is an incredible value pick. Wyatt Millum is an incredible value pick. I mean, even Caleb Ransaw, I think he went a little later than he should have. The fact that Jacksonville got him so low is very shocking to me. And I mean, there's nothing really much to say after that. I mean, they got Raywan Lane in the 6th from Navy. I don't really know too much about him. They got Jonah Moheim in the 7th. Don't really know too much about him. And then they go and get LaQuint Allen from Syracuse, another running back. I don't know why. I think a lot of these guys are going to be on special teams.
Yeah.
But
maybe like punt return.
Wait. I'm getting breaking the Makedar news. The Jaguars have signed another running back. That's literally what it is.
Whoa.
Or to quote Joe from one of the greatest animes ever, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Nani!
But right now, Jacksonville has 5 running backs on the roster, I believe, because they've got another running back they got 2 running backs in the draft last year. Why you need to stock up on running backs when you don't have an offensive line? They were like Houston last year, where they have an offensive line that can't handle the run. Why you stock up on so many running backs? It's just an easy way for a lot of them to get hurt, especially when you have Travis Etienne, who is another player that's been dealing with injuries his entire career. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it's very frustrating.
I think because Travis Etienne has been facing a lot of injuries, I think Tank Bigsby is probably going to take over that role as a 3-down running back, and you'll see Travis Etienne more in the role of who's a good pass catching running back we've seen lately.
Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall. And Liam Cohen has the chops to do that, you know?
I think he's worked with he's worked with like big backs that can become pass catchers before. If you remember, I don't know if this is true, but Liam Cohen wasn't he part of the Dave Canales tree back in Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Where he did what the works of like I don't know Leonard Fournette. Does that
Mhm.
ring a bell for anyone? He developed him into a pass catcher under Tom Brady when they won that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and he was a part. I think I'm not 100% sure, but Liam Cohen was part of that offense. And Baker Mayfield, and the fact that Liam Cohen, I still think, and like, remember I told you I had that take about like, I don't like the fact that like you're having offensive coordinators have that one experience for like just 1 year, then they immediately go off and become head coaches. I
Mhm.
said the same thing about Dave Canales. I don't know about Liam Cohen, man. I really want him to succeed, but I think this was a bit too early by the Jags to do this.
So Liam Cohen was not on the Bucks. He was on the Rams for a long time.
Oh,
He was the OC for the 2022 Rams.
okay. They didn't have that much of a running game. It was like what? Cam Akers, Avery Williams,
Yeah. They had Cam Akers who had
and the other Williams dude. Yeah.
who was it?
Oh my God.
Daryl Henderson was there.
Daryl freaking Henderson.
Mhm.
I haven't heard that name in a long ass time, but yeah. Daryl Henderson, Cam Akers, and the other Williams guy. I think like even though like the Rams were mainly heavy attack on the passing game, they had a consistent game in which the running backs became pass catchers. Under that Cohen type of the offense, I think that's gonna work well for it, but I don't know if that's gonna translate for him because I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this though. I want Liam Cohen to succeed, but I don't know if this offense will translate.
I think he will. I definitely don't think we're going to see any immediate success. This is definitely a slow burn team.
6-7 win team at least.
I think that's putting it a little. I think that's being a little too nice.
Oh,
Really?
oh,
I think Jacksonville. See, the thing is, I compare Jacksonville to a worse Packers team where they got the young talent. It's there. They have the ability to win, but they haven't been able to kick that into overdrive and really show what they're capable of. Because that was the most frustrating thing about the Packers last season was that they had the team, they have the young talent. They just haven't developed it quite to the standard of a team like the Ravens, a team like the Bills. And it's definitely going to take a while for Jacksonville. It'll take longer for Jacksonville than it will for Green Bay, I feel like. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a playoff team in the next few years if they draft smart. They need to load up on defense. They need to protect Trevor because I think Trevor can be the quarterback of the future. I think he can win them a Super Bowl. He's got the talent. It's there.
That's fair.
Do something with it. That's what Jacksonville needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They brought in guys who I don't know, aren't really capable of winning games. They got Nick Mullins, who's okay, but then they got John Wolford and Seth Hennigan. If Trevor goes down, they're screwed.
Yeah.
This entire thing blows up in their face if Trevor goes down, which is why I think they need to really stock up on offensive line, really focus on getting a good secondary, getting rid of some of these older players and revamping the defensive line completely. I don't know. There's just a lot. Jacksonville's just a big question mark. And as much as I love them, as much as I think that they could do well, I have them probably as a 5-12 team, 4-13. I think they're losing. I think, and that's strictly because of how much they lost. Because, like I said earlier, they lost a lot of big names. They lost Brendan Sheriff. They lost Christian Kirk, Josh Reynolds, Evan Ingrams, Ronald Darby, even like Andre Sisco. They lost a lot of big names that really helped their defense.
Yeah.
If Jacksonville can develop, and I think that with Liam Cohen, it's a good start. If Jacksonville can develop these players and really push them to what they can be, this is going to be an impressive team 5 years down the line. Right now, though, they are nowhere near ready. And especially with their schedule coming up, because they got a rough schedule coming up. At least I'm pretty sure last time I checked.
Yeah. They have Cincinnati.
Yeah, they got to play Kansas City. They got to go to Cincinnati. They got to go to San Francisco,
Seattle,
Seahawks,
LA.
Rams, even like the Chargers.
Yeah.
They got to go to Denver. It's a lot to handle for a young team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ready whatsoever. Point blank, plain and simple. To wrap this up with a bow, I see them going 4-13. Absolute ceiling, I would probably say 8-9, but that's like the absolute ceiling. Their floor, I would say 2 wins is the floor, but I see them as a 5-12 team with a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I could say that. And in other news, water is blue, grass is green.
Jags are gonna jag.
Duval gonna Duval.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the Jags are better than what we give them credit for. See, okay, let's take a look at their schedule, right? Against Carolina, at home, potential win.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, loss. Yes, Dr.
We have breaking the market there news. According to Adam Schefter, this is regarding Falcons wide receiver Darnell Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
He had an injury. So on Thursday during 11-on-11s, he had he had a shoulder injury while trying to dive deep for a Michael Penix pass deep right sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently is going to be out for several weeks. He has a shoulder injury. In response, the Falcons signed one 1 year vet wide receiver DJ Chark.
Okay.
So Darnell Mooney is going to be missing a couple weeks with shoulder injury. DJ Chark will be that replacement for now.
And that's not a bad replacement, but I think Darnell Mooney definitely was a big part of their offense last year. So that's really going to hurt them.
Especially with a young quarterback in
Michael Penix?
Yes, Michael Penix. There we go. Why am I forgetting all these names?
The curse, man.
The curse is real. The curse is real. Or it's just too late. We'll see.
But yeah, no, going back to their schedule, the Panthers, that's a toss-up because the Panthers definitely have up their game. Bryce Young has been getting a lot better especially over the last few games of last season. That's a coin flip. I think they're going to lose in Cincinnati.
Lose in Houston.
They always have trouble against the Texans, no matter where they are, no matter how good the team is. So I think they lose both games to the Texans. I think they split with the Colts, maybe split with the Titans. Who knows? They're going to lose in San Francisco. They're going to lose to Kansas City.
Seattle at home.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle at home. Depending on the quarterback play, I think
it's Sam Darnold who's their quarterback.
Sam Darnold versus Trevor Lawrence. I mean, come on. It speaks for itself.
I think they win there.
They got to play a tough Rams team.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, I think, is an easy win just because I think the Raiders are awful, to put it bluntly. Like I said, they lose both games to the Texans. Chargers, I think, is a loss. I think especially with Quentin Johnston getting a lot better over the offseason and actually learning how to catch the ball.
Right.
They got two dangerous threats. Because I was high on him coming out of the draft. I didn't realize he was going to be that butterfingers for them, but as much as he's progressed, I think that's a loss for Jacksonville. I think they beat Arizona. There's not really a lot there with that Arizona team other than Marvin Harrison and James Conner.
Yeah.
Kyler really doesn't scare me, and I think they can handle him pretty easily. What?
He's a very unimpressive, like he's the definition of mid. I think, Rakshak, you have found the definition of mid in Kyler Murray.
Let's see.
Well, when you're in the league for 7 years and you're at serviceable at best with no awards to show for it,
mid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mid.
Well, I'll not mark the time and date. Mid contender of the year of the season goes to Kyler Murray. Please make a note of it. Please do not forget it. John, make a note of this too. Kyler Murray, welcome to the mid. Welcome. You are competing for the mid awards. All you have to do is maintain a 500 season at best. 8-1 is where you should be.
Get out of that. Just get out of 500 and you'll be fine.
Just go full Steelers.
Like I said, I think they split with Tennessee. I think they split with Indy. So that's 3 wins there. I think they beat the Jets at home. And then they lose to the Broncos in Denver just because that Denver team is insane. I think that they've gotten nothing but better over the offseason, and it's going to be very difficult to beat them, especially in that altitude. I think they go into Denver and lose. But 4 or 5 wins. I stand by that. They got a tough schedule. This is not the team to do it. And that's all I got to say about the Jags.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Titans. Oh boy, thank God they sent Malik Willis to us Packers, huh? We were able to witness the majesty that is Will Levis.
Oh God. Yep, and Will Levis is he's not playing the season anymore now.
Yeah, I saw he was out for the year. What happened to him?
Shoulder injury.
He has surgery.
Surgery on that.
I don't know if you would call it a Tommy John still, but that's only for baseball. But
that's elbow.
Oh, Tommy John's elbow. Okay.
Yeah.
All I know, surgery. Wishing Will Levis, the player, best of luck.
Get well soon, Mayo boy.
Oh, come on!
And in honor of Will Levis,
bro,
we need to show his majesty all the wonderful memes he helped birth. The famous meme where he's leaning forward with hands on his head. This is the only thing we need to know about Will Levis is the memes, especially with Lucas Van Ness and his groin area on the back of his head. The famous chuck where he's throwing the ball to some defender, hoping it's caught by somebody. The point or the part where he dived into a poor field personnel's knee and completely obliterated that guy's knee. The Spider-Man celebration. I mean, come on. Will Levis is the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh God.
He is majestic. He is majestic. He is the definition of what it means to be majestic on the football field.
Meme of the year if it was award.
Yes. He would have won the meme of the week every single week he played.
Yep.
But speaking of the Titans, their offense, besides Will Levis, was still not good. It's not like he was the only problem.
Can I just phrase it, help you out? The Titans offense sucked.
Yeah. Worse O-line than the Texans at both run blocking and pass blocking. 31st overall in the league, 31st in the pass, 28th rushing game. Will Levis, 8th most sacks this year.
I'm noticing a theme here with the AFC South and really bad offensive lines.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when you look at the entirety of the AFC, there are only like 5 teams that have good offensive lines consistently. You got the Chiefs, you got the Ravens, you've got, do we even have 3?
I mean, Buffalo maybe.
Buffalo maybe, Denver probably. Who else? That's about it. 4 teams in the AFC that have good offensive lines. Wow. None of them in the AFC South. So, okay. Yeah, it sucked. There was a bright spot. However bad this offensive performance was, there was a bright spot for Tennessee Titans fans. And that was their power rushing game. It was the 3rd best power rushing success rate in the league this past year. And I want you guys to guess which running back out of the 2 running backs was a better power rusher. Tajay Spears or Tony Pollard?
Probably Tajay.
What?
Really?
Wrong. Tony Pollard had the 8th highest power success rate amongst all running backs playing more than 15 games last year.
Oh, gee.
So he is the OG power back for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, geez. I wonder why the Cowboys didn't sign him.
Because they thought Zeke was going to be better. That's why.
Oh my God, Zeke's so good. Oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
But yeah, so that's like that's the small plus point for the Titans is their power rushing game. Now, what is something that I really like to see for the Titans next year, especially with the continuation of this offensive staff, coaching staff and personnel, a better scheme that helps your young QB. Because Will Levis, yes, he was not the greatest quarterback, but he was also set up to fail from the beginning. That offensive line was set up to fail from the beginning. His wide receivers were not the greatest collection. Yes, he had a decent running game, but worst of all, his offensive coordinator was not creating the most friendly game plan for young QBs. What is helpful for young QBs? A lot of motion, a lot of play action, right? Because motion helps to confuse the second level of the defense, along with play action that helps confuse the linebackers because they don't know when it's going to be a run versus when it's going to be a pass, which means it helps them freeze in that moment and allows the young quarterback to help dissect the matchups between the wide receivers and the cornerbacks more effectively, right? And if you have more motion, you could create plays that bring receivers in more advantageous and open positions. That's what the great offensive coordinators do. Do you want to guess where the Titans offense was in both of these stats last year in terms of usage rate? Motion, 28th in the league, and play action, 21st. That just will not fly for a young quarterback. It's just not going to fly.
It's stupid.
You saw the same thing with the Eagles, right? When you look at the
oh my God,
2023 offensive coordinator,
Brian Johnson, I wanted to get a hammer and hit my head to knock myself unconscious because I begged every week You didn't even use motion. But no, you had 5 basic ass plays.
Exactly.
Stuff like this is going to get your quarterback hurt. And you have to wait to say F it, someone out there.
And this
That-
past year, what did you guys
career-
do? Kellen Moore introduced more motion, more play action, right? And that helped you
more,
guys.
more
Obviously,
motion, more
Saquon
play
Barkley.
action. And of course, through the use of Saquon Barkley, when you
Right.
mixed in the run game and introduced motion,
Mhm.
the concept of motion allowed with it, the offense was able to click a lot more. We saw that after week 5. After the Eagles played against the Browns, week 6 is on. When you introduce motion, when you have a strong running game, the offense will click. And seeing the Titans not do that at all, and doing the same shit that I've seen before.
Mhm. It was very static offense.
And I'm gonna say this, that's career suicide for an offensive coordinator to do that shit, and you're doing it at a consistent level basis. Go back to coaching high school football for this crap. You don't do that. You
Yep.
have to evolve.
Yep. Modern NFL offenses almost always require you to have motion.
You're the big boy. Part my French, but you're the big boys, motherfucker. Come
Mhm.
on.
All right. So speaking of their offense, overall their performance was trash. This is very static, unimaginative offensive performance, bad O-line play, bad quarterbacking play. Only positive was their power rushing game, which was courtesy mostly of Tony Pollard. So we'll see if they can continue that success into the next year. But on their defensive side, it's honestly more of the same, more mid performance. The rush defense was their strength with that insane defensive line, right? 12th best in terms of success rate. But where they suffer and where they have suffered for the past 5, 6, 7 years is their secondary and their, linebacking core, not their D-line. Their D-line has always been pretty good. It's the midfield and the secondary, which is where they are suffering from. 6th highest open field yards allowed per attempt, which is not good. And if you look at their secondary specifically, not only was their run defense piss poor, their pass defense was also extremely one-sided. Like they could only stop the deep pass. They were only good at stopping the deep pass rate, which was both top 10 in the league in terms of stopping 20-plus yard completion percentage, so allowed rate, and the amount of times that quarterbacks or offenses threw deep passes. So other than the deep pass, which they helped protect, courtesy of Amani Hooker, their free safety, that secondary was not good. 10th highest in EPA per drop back allowed. 8th most red zone touchdowns allowed. When you're allowing teams to score on you in the red zone via pass, that's not going to help your offense more, is it? Like, it's okay to give up yards, but it's not okay. It's less okay to give up touchdowns, especially in the red zone. 4th highest explosive play rate, courtesy of that deep pass not allowed, and the 9th highest catch rate allowed. So while they were good at defending deep pass, they allowed intermediate and short passes to be caught very frequently. So that meant that this secondary was very one-sided, and this defense was very one-sided. Now, they did try and improve a lot of one-year deals, but when you look at some of their biggest acquisitions, they're trying to improve their offensive line, right? They brought in Dan Moore on a 4-year, $82 million contract from Pittsburgh. Overpaid. I think it's extremely, extremely overpaid for that contract, for that value of a player. But they had to, because otherwise they would have had absolutely nobody. They brought in Kevin Zeitler. They brought in Cody Barton on their defensive side on a 3-year, $21 million deal. Sebastian Joseph, D tackle. So pretty decent signings. They brought in Xavier Woods on a 2-year deal, Johnny Hecker, Van Jefferson on a 1-year deal. So they are bringing in depth, and they did bring in some quality pieces, but I don't think it's enough considering that they released Chidobe Awuzie, and more importantly, they released Harold Landry, which I did not think they would do considering he was actually one of their best run defenders on the defensive line. Right? Not just in against in terms of pass rush, but he was very critical for their run defense. So I'm surprised to see this defense. It's time for L'Jarius Sneed to step up, but besides him, I don't really see, John, you talked about the secondary issue from the Jaguars. I think the Titans have a worse secondary than the Jaguars. Because
it's close. It's definitely close.
Because you look at L'Jarius Sneed, he is out. He's on the player unable to perform list, so the PUP list with a knee injury. So he's not going to be available for like the first 4 weeks. Who else do you guys have? Who else do the Titans have at corner? Jarvis Brownlee, Roger McCreary, Daryl Baker. I mean, none of these players are any like household names. You only have your safety tandem in Amani Hooker and now Xavier Woods. So I'm not surprised if the secondary does not improve, even though they did try and bring in some defensive help. I don't think the secondary improves. Now, on the offense is where they've completely changed course, right? They got rid of Will Levis. They got Cam Ward because they had the number 1 overall pick. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Cam Ward is the least talked about first overall pick in the past 20 years.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, there's been no comment about him other than like NFL nerds and Titans media reporters. The national stage has completely forgotten that he was drafted. I mean, I've never seen this level of anonymity towards Cam Ward in the past 20 years, towards the first overall pick. But reports from camp say that he's been very quiet, he's been humble, and he's been consistent. He's been consistently good at delivering the ball at a quick speed. So the complete opposite of Will Levis. Whereas Will Levis was a meme god, Cam Ward is your prototypical soft-spoken, hard-working quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. He is literally their hope and future. In terms of more players that they brought in the draft, they did bring in a player that I really wanted the Packers to draft on edge, Oluwafemi Oladejo out of UCLA, a pretty decent and like all-rounded but explosive edge from UCLA. They brought in an interesting wide receiver in Chimere Dike in the 4th round. And they also brought in Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas. They brought in Elik Eyomenor, wide receiver from Stanford. I'm surprised he went all the way in the 4th round. I thought this guy was a 2nd-round caliber talent, but the fact that they got him in the 4th round suggests that maybe there were some concerns about him, but I think this is a good pickup for them because he's exactly what they need on the offensive side of the ball in their wide receiver position for deep passes because Elik Eyomenor is 6'2", 206, and he has the deep speed that we need, or that they need. So you could also say the same thing about Chimere Dike. 6'1", 196, also has deep speed. So It's going to be interesting to see how this, Brian Callahan uses this wide receiving core, which actually looks, half decent. You got Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett as a veteran pickup. Traylon Burks, we'll have to see what his development is like after getting rid of A.J. Brown for Traylon Burks. One of the dumbest moves ever. As I said before, they got Van Jefferson and now Chamari Dike and Alec Amunor. So I think this, they also got Xavier Restrepo from Miami. Another wide receiver. I think he went undrafted. So they did bring in some good wide receiving depth. Don't know if these guys are going to be like number one wide receivers. That's going to land on the shoulders of Calvin Ridley once again. So like I don't know. Like I really don't know about what to expect from the Titans.
Right. And can I make a correction on this one?
Mm.
Not AJ Brown. Super Bowl champ AJ Brown. Titans, by the way, thank you for that. And also, Mr. Inner Excellence himself, AJ Brown. It's actually really good so far. I actually recommend it. It's actually helping me.
Okay. But yeah, the Titans, honestly, I think they go 4-12. I don't really see a lot of wins in their schedule. I think Cam Ward needs to prove that he's the quarterback, obviously. He's the quarterback of the future. I think it's going to be a lot like Drake May and the Patriots last year. Some flashes of potential, but that entire team needs at least 2 years of drafting and developing and additions to actually get to the playoffs. What do you guys think? I think that's a good comparison. Drake May and the Patriots last year. I think that's going to be the Titans this year.
I could see that happening, but we have to see how that offensive line is going to help out for Cam Ward. I just hope that Cam Ward doesn't die on the field, meaning like he doesn't get sacked a lot. I just hope there's a decent game plan. Yes, there will be losses, but let's just hope he doesn't get himself killed on the field. That's all I ask for. Because that's the bare minimum, right?
Yeah. Because this schedule is not favorable for them. They open at Denver, so that's a loss. Then they face the Rams, and then they face the Colts, and then they go to Houston, then they go to Arizona, and then Raiders, New England, Colts, Chargers, then back to Houston, Seattle. I could see them having 4, maybe 5 wins. Kind of like the Patriots of last year with Drake May. I think they're in very similar situation. I think the Titans definitely have a better receiving core than the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots have a better defensive core than the Titans. But I really see a similar team. A team that is hoping that their young number one overall pick, young first-round quarterback is the answer to their future performance. So I think 4-12 is a good target for them this year. Probably 5 games is like the ceiling. I expect Cam Ward to be the offensive rookie of the year because it's a QB award, but also I just don't think a lot of the wide receivers are going to have a say in it. Maybe Ashton Genty takes it if he has a monster performance, or Omarion Hampton, but I think it's probably going to be a QB award. It's going to be Cam Ward, offensive rookie of the year, and I think he's going to be the Shandar player of the year for the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall, the 2024 New England Patriots meet the 2025 Tennessee Titans. Last but not least, the Colts.
Okay. What do I get with the Colts? When I look at the 2024 season, I made myself a mental checklist.
Mm-hmm.
You go mid this in the season, check. You miss the playoffs,
Check.
injuries,
Check.
your offense is based on Jonathan Taylor plus a misfit of wide receivers and no tight end game.
Check.
Mediocre defense.
Check. 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 Check.
There you have it. Thank you, Anand. If I had, it was in case like those that are trying to understand what the analogy is, no worries. Let's break it down. The only offense was, hello, let's run the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. That's pretty much it. They averaged 137.1 rushing yards per game, 8th in the league according to Fox Sports. Taylor led the team in rushing yards, 1,431 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Had 11 touchdowns. The entire offense only scored 377 points. And that's averaging 22.2 points per game, 17th overall. The only breakouts that we saw was the combination of Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, and Alec Pierce. But there's been no consistency in the tight end group. And of course, this all depends upon who your general is. Now, this goes to the question on who the F is playing quarterback. Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco were inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, inconsistent. And I think this was a terrible predicament for Shane. Shane Steichen said, like, hey, I'm here to help out with Anthony Richardson. If Richardson's injured, what Joe Flacco can only do like some of the bare minimum. And half of your players are injured. And what's even worse, the defense under Gus Bradley was so bad. And let me get and I actually haven't used this stat in a while time, but if you want to talk about DVOA, defensive adjusted value over average,
Mm-hmm.
Colts, they were shockingly, the Colts were ranked 19th offensive DVOA, negative 5.1. Passing DVOA, guess where they were ranked?
31st.
22nd.
What?
They were ranked 22nd DVOA.
How? How are teams worse than Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco at quarterback?
I have no idea. I have nothing to say. They're 3.3%. Their rushing DVOA, negative 2.2%, 11th. That's... And then, but the defense, like, holy crap. They allowed 427 points in total. They averaged 25.1 points per game allowed, which is 24th according to Pro Football Reference. And if you and if I wanted to talk about like overall statistics, turnover differential -3, tied for 18th. We're looking at you see where it is, and the worst statistic that they had was time of possession. They held the ball for 27 minutes and 44 seconds per game.
Oh my God.
But they did improve on one category. Hey, at least we were third fewest in penalties. Penalties is good to win a penalty battle, but if you're losing in turnovers, time of possession, and you're not scoring points, and you're not stopping,
penalties don't really matter at that point.
Stats don't do shit. We gotta make this a tagline. If you can't win games, stats don't do shit.
Yeah.
Quote me on this one. Okay, and if you want to talk about stats, for those that are interested in stats, here's some for you. Passing yards. Anthony Richardson, 1,814 passing yards. Not bad. Rushing yards, Jonathan Taylor, we talked about that. Okay, this will make me sad. Receiving yards, there was no 1,000 receiving. There was not a receiver, tight end, nor wide receiver that had 1,000 receiving yards. Alec Pierce is the highest one with 824. Their okay defender was Zaire Franklin with 173 tackles. Quiddy Pay, 4 sacks, and we were talking about him earlier. Julian Blackmon led the team in interceptions. What the hell were the Colts doing? John, what were the Colts doing?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I also didn't really pay attention to Colts football last year because there's nothing there.
I think you did the right thing. You don't need to pay attention for this one either because they're just sorry.
They were so conflicting as an offense. There was no consistency to anything that they did.
Yeah. And here's a little bit more stats for you. Defensive DVOA. I wanted you to take a guess. Where were they ranked? Where were they ranked?
30th.
No, I'm gonna guess 17th.
I thought that's close. They were ranked 15th.
Wow.
15th in DVOA.
So they were decent.
Defensive passing DVOA, 11.8%, 22nd. Defensive against the rush, they were 14th, negative 10.9. They struggled more against the pass than the run. Like, I think it was more of the inconsistency with their offense, especially the time of possession, and the defensive struggles against explosive pass plays, and the fact that you could not win against the freaking Giants that one game, that says a lot. And I would say this. Shane Steichen, he was hired for a reason to develop Anthony Richardson as a passer, and to add some variety to this offense, just like he did with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni in 2022, 2023. But I say, and I say right now, he's on the hot seat. I think if the Colt, and it's a tough pill to ask, but how many years is Shane Steichen in on this? Third year?
3, yeah, third, fourth year almost.
Third year.
He's on the hot seat.
He is on the hot seat. He's on the Masala hot seat. Blaming Bahut Gadam.
Yep.
So it's sad if I talk statistics and all this stuff. I don't want to talk about the 2024 recap because it was shit. Let's see what they did re-signing wise. They signed a couple of one-year deals. The only ones I saw, Mo Alley Cox, tight end. They signed Corey Ballantyne, Dave Long, both cornerbacks. Neville Gallimore, defensive end. Not bad. It's 1-year contract. Khalil Herbert, running back, just to add on to Jonathan Taylor, the legend that he is. They did sign Danny Pinter to a 1-year deal. Oh, and then they brought back They brought Daniel Jones for a 1-year deal to play backup to Anthony Richardson. So that, I'm going to have so much. I'm interested to see how the competition goes out. Good Lord. But they did make some good improvements. I liked the Cameron Bynum pickup, free safety for 4 years, $60 million. Ashton Dudland, 2 years, $6.5 million. And Charvarius Ward, 3-year, $54 million contract. I think he will bring some veteran depth, more veteran depth, I think, with the Julian Blackmon departure. But a couple of players that they lost, we did talk about Julian Blackmon. I think the biggest one was Will Fry's guard, who's now with the Vikings. Another one like Daya Odeyingbo, defensive
Yeah, Diodingbo, yeah.
3 years to the Bears. Center Ryan Kelly to the Vikings, or the purple incarnations of Satan. Matt Gay, their kicker, goes to the Commanders. Joe Flacco, the legend, goes to the Browns. EJ Speed, linebacker, Texans. Kylan Grayson, backup tight end to the Eagles. I believe that he got released earlier. I think, because I think the Eagles picked up a defensive edge in Ogbo Okoronkwo or something like that from the. I think decent player, like good depth, I guess. Grant Stewart, outside linebacker to the Bears. No, to the Lions. Sam Ellinger, QB to the QB1 to the Broncos. Trey Sermon, running back, 1-year deal to the Steelers. And Taven Bryan who got released. I'm reading this from Spot Track. Defensive tackle to the Bengals. $0. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I'll say one thing. I thought they had a decent draft class, but I think it was more like a lot of it fell to them on the board. Especially pick 14. Number one, they needed to address that tight end. They needed a pass catcher. They got a stud in Tyler freaking Warren. I think the best tight end and my Shandar player of the year.
Ooh, okay.
I think Tyler Warren is the Shandar player for the Colts. I honestly think he's going to be the only pass catcher for Anthony Richardson. He may be close enough to 1,000 receiving yards. Maybe they finally get something like that. Maybe it doesn't, but he is going to be the one driving that offense, because I think Anthony Richardson to develop into that, he has to attack the small game early. It can't be just Jonathan Taylor, maybe Alec Pearson, Pittman Jr. and Downs. They can develop it. They're good. But you need a pass-catching tight end, an athlete like Tyler Warren. And I say, and the Bears, who look like total idiots for getting Colston Loveland over Tyler freaking Warren. Like, I'm sorry, what in the blue hell were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't get it either, especially with how versatile of a player Tyler Warren is.
Yeah.
I'm a big Penn State fan. I've grown up a huge Penn State fan. Watching him play
give us a full breakdown. Give us a breakdown. What can he do?
Watching him play at Penn State and watching him play damn near every position was so much fun to watch, and it really shot our offense to another level. And I think he can do that with the Colts. And if they use him correctly, because you can run with him, he's a great pass catcher. Hell, he can even play quarterback if Anthony Richardson doesn't cut it. There's just so much you can do with him, and he's just like I said, a fun player to watch.
Dude, spot on, man. Spot on. Thank you so much for this, man. Round 2, I thought they had another underrated pick by getting JT Tuimoloau, edge from Ohio State. I love this pick, especially with Samson Ebukam coming out from a torn ACL. He's going to be limited. And David Odeyingbo going to the Bears. You need a replacement? There you have it. You got another Big 12 guy, JT Tuimoloau. He is big. Like, put him in the opposite of Leatu Latu. That's going to be fun. I think relying on 2 young defensive edges to go after, because Leatu Latu is more of the finished edge rusher. Tuimoloau is more of the physical. He's more physical and he loves to attack. But they needed to address on the defensive line, and it does wonders. I love the pick. And you pairing up with DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, Kwity Paye and Tuimoloau, that rotation is gonna look nasty. Trust me on this one. I like this one. And then the other one, round 3, Justin Wally, cornerback from Minnesota, the Golden Gophers won. I thought he like some people said he was a day 3 pick. The fact that the Colts picked him up at pick 80, some people did not know who he was, but 5'10", not the safest tackler, but I think he kind of fits. I don't know what his scheme is. I think he's more I think it's more like a smaller slot corner. I want to say at best, but looking at the looking at the depth chart, Wally is actually going to be playing left cornerback, back up to Jalen Jones. So I don't know much about him, but I would think I think he does have he has like a lot of college experience, insane ball hawker. He has that ball hawking ability. That's what we need for every corner. Pick round 4, pick 112. You put Jalen Travis, tackle from Ohio State. He had a RAS score of 9.08. I think that's something that you'll like, Anand. Apparently, this was definitely a Chris Ballard pick. 6'8", 340 pounds. It was somewhere. And apparently, I wanted to say he was similar to like some Zach Banner for Indy. But he could play right guard in a pinch, but he's probably going to be playing like outside tackle, competing with Blake Freeland. I thought like he was a late prospect. Colts got a good pick. Round 5, they got DJ Giddens, running back from Kansas State. Zach Moss replacement at best. Round 6, pick 189. They go Riley Leonard, quarterback from Notre Dame. I don't know. I mean, late round pick. Getting a quarterback like this, you need a third QB at best. So I think good value, but he's not going to be seeing a lot on the field. Then back to back. Then after 189 at 190, they go Tim Smith, defensive tackle, Alabama, and it was an Alabama guy. He'll probably work on special teams, but you can see a rotational defensive tackle. Does have experience playing at the edge, but the lack of explosiveness push him back. Last but not least, linebacker Hunter Wohler from Wisconsin. Played all over the defense of Wisconsin. Lacks top tier athleticism, but basically right place, right time. Solid tackler, proper coverage. He could be a coverage linebacker. And I mean, these were okay picks, but if you were to give this a grade, I mean, I would say C, B- at best. I mean, it was a good value, but it wasn't that oomph. You know what I mean?
Same thing as last year when they had Adonai Mitchell and
oh my god, I forgot about Adonai Mitchell. But it was like mainly Josh Allen, Michael Pittman, and it was Josh. It was basically Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., and Alec Pierce. Nothing else.
Now
go ahead.
They have improved their receiving core. They've improved their skill position group.
Right. They have done that, but I think like the Tyler Warren pick, that Tyler Warren pick is there, and I think like that'll be like my last part for the draft. But coaching changes, we all knew about Jim Irsay passing away during the offseason. And with this, the ownership has been split along his 3 daughters, Charlie Irsay Gordon, Kalen Jackson, and Casey Foyt. They did fire Gus Bradley and they hired Lou Anarumo. So I think these were like some of the major changes. Lou Anarumo, what we've seen in Cincinnati, heavy blitzing, more pass rushing. So we could see the defense going a little bit more aggressive. Season expectations. I mean, yes, they added talent, but if I had to be honest, there are 2 players that struck me out the biggest. One from the draft and one from the free agency. Tavarius Ward as a cornerback, and Tyler Warren. I don't know if what I saw is enough, or if there was like a big name for the Colts. And I'm going to be honest, they're competing for Tank Bowl. They're competing for Tank Bowl. And again, my Chandler Player of the Year and potential Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Tyler Warren.
Mm-hmm.
That's my beat the doll. But I'm going to say, y'all are going to be shocked by this, but I had the Colts going 5-12. And
I would not be surprised. It entirely depends on Anthony Richardson. If he
it depends on the health of Anthony Richardson. That's all I got. I have no expectations for the Colts. All I can say is do better. Or as I like to quote from a very cartoon show that just made a lot of people laugh. I think the owner's gonna, or like Chris Brown's gonna be like, relax, guy. Relax, guy. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it was South Park.
Yes. Yes.
Relax, guy.
All right, let's wrap this up with our final season predictions for the division. John, you can go ahead. Who do you think is going to win the division? And what? We all know. But what do you think each team's records are going to be in the division?
Well, obviously, I have the Texans winning the division. I think they're just the better all-around team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Ceiling, I'd say 13-4. Floor, I'd say probably 10-7. But I have them, like you said, a solid like 12-5. Next, I got Indy. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but they are better than Tennessee and Jacksonville, in my opinion. I have them going maybe 7-9, or sorry, 7-10.
Okay.
6-11. Jacksonville, like I said, is probably going to. Jacksonville's probably going to be third for me. Like I said, they're going to be around 5-12, and then Tennessee. I think they're lucky to even get 3 wins this year. But I'll say 3-14.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I echo very similar sentiments. I think obviously the Texans win 12-5. There's literally no competition within the division. But I think Jags are a near playoff team. If everything goes well, I think they go 8-9. I think Liam Cohen can create a competitive offense. Maybe not a top 10 offense, but at least a competitive offense. Like you mentioned, John, there were like 4 games where the Jags were blown out last year, but they were still within a scoring, a winning score in all the other games. So if they can turn or convert one of those 1-score games or a couple of those 1-score games into wins, which I think Liam Cohen can devise a scheme that allows the offense to perform the way we think they should perform, I think they can. I think it's a weak division. They can definitely go, at least 3-1 against, the Titans and the Colts, and then they'll just lose the 2 against the Texans, so they can go 3-3. But I think that this Jacksonville team has the chops to maybe make the wild card push if everything goes well. But I think most realistically they go 8-9. I got the Titans going 1 game above the Colts at 4-12, and I think the Colts go 3-14. I just don't think Anthony Richardson is the guy. I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy. I think they get either the number 1 or the number 2 spot, and they look for another QB.
And my predictions, I have the Texans winning at 10-7. I think they're the only team with a winning record. I have the Colts and the Jaguars going 5-12 each.
Whoa.
It's a tough schedule. And you're going to be shocked tonight this one. I only have the Titans winning 2 games.
Yeah, very much like John.
Yeah, Colts and Jags each go 3-3.
Okay.
They're probably going to sweep the Titans. Titans will probably win one game against the Texans because the Texans are resting their starters. They've already clinched everything. They're like, let the backups play. That's honestly what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, but can they even beat the backups? They're a bad team. They got talent at the quarterback position, but really nothing else.
Anand, can you please clip this part?
Yep.
Put it up on IG. Can you? Wait, in the words of Dave Chappelle via Rick James, that was cold blood.
All right. Well, another enjoyable episode. Thank you, John, for coming back onto the podcast. We always appreciate your valuable insights here.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
And we're going to hit you guys with our... yes. So that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host a podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast. Or
you can also find us on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, subscribe. And we're also on the following social media platforms: at Instagram, Twitter /X, and Threads under the username at NFL Masala 2022. That is all lowercase, at NFL Masala 2022.
And now we're going to hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack Go.
And we always and from the Super Bowl 59 champs, we all we got, we all we need. Fly Eagles fly. Take care and have a good night.